Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Hello, hello. Mic check 1 2. Making sure everyone in my station can hear it. You guys all good? What you need? Ralph, you good?
Thank you.
Cool.
Good afternoon. I'm Chief Alfred, Ione Police Department, and today I'm going to give you an update on the investigation, and I will take questions afterwards. First of all, I want to thank all the resources that helped us out yesterday with this investigation. The Amador County District Attorney's Office, the Amador County District Attorney investigators, the Sheriff's Office was out there helping, along with the cities of Jackson PD, Sutter Creek PD, CAL FIRE, Ione Fire, and CHP. Without the assistance of these agencies, this would have been a very, very difficult investigation to tackle. First thing I'd like to do is correct a statement I made yesterday about Joseph Stephen Jenkins. Mr. Jenkins is on parole for attempted murder, not murder. We contacted and were able to get a hold of the parole agent and got more information on that. And this charge and why he was on parole was from the 2011 case here in the city of Ione. I do not have details on that case. That was prior to me working for the city of Ione. Mr. Jenkins was released in February from prison and sent to a Atascadero State Hospital. In July, he was released from a Atascadero State Hospital and came to Ione, and that was approximately on the 6th of July. Since July, the Ione Police Department has only had 2 calls for service involving Mr. Jenkins. The first call for service was in early September. The second call for service was actually last Friday. During both of these calls for service, officers responded and conducted investigations. It was determined that there was no crime being committed when the officers contacted Mr. Jenkins, and there was no legal reason to detain him. Neither of the calls involved any violence at all. Neither of the calls were violent calls. So I'd like to update everybody on our victims. We are not releasing the victims' names at this time because this is an ongoing active investigation and we want to preserve our investigation. There's still a lot of follow-up to be done. The first victim is a male in his mid-20s. He was found on Violet Lane, and he is currently in stable condition at a Sacramento hospital. And he is currently receiving treatment. Our second victim, which is a PG&E worker, he is a male in his 40s. He was attacked between Violet Lane and Shakely, and he was treated at a local hospital and released and is at home now. The third victim, which is our decedent, is a female in her 60s that was located on Shakely Lane. We are currently waiting for the coroner's report for a cause of death. The Amador County Sheriff's Office will release her name once the coroner has completed their investigation. So inquiries about the decedent can be made to the Amador County Sheriff's Office. We have recovered a knife at the scene. We also, all 3 victims had multiple stab wounds. Again, this was a rather large area. This went from basically West Marlette all the way to Shakely. So this was a large crime scene. We did have 3 separate crime scenes. We did process all 3 crime scenes last night, and late last night cleared the crime scenes. I want to say there is definitely no threat to the community at this time. We do believe that the suspect acted alone and he is in custody. He's being held on no bail right now. So I will open this up to questions.
Can you tell us if there's a reason that he was in this particular neighborhood? Is it believed to have been targeted to this specific area or known for him to have visited this area before?
Mr. Jenkins was a resident previously of Ione in 2011, but we don't know if he targeted any area. This is an open investigation. We're still working on that.
Can you walk us through the 3 separate crime scenes, if they happen inside homes, outside? We are hearing that one of the cases he had broken into a home, and that is when the fatal stabbing occurred.
So what I can say is there were 3 crime scenes. 2 did occur inside residence and 1 was outside. Beyond that, I really don't have too many details because we are currently investigating this and working on the details of how things happen inside the residence.
So you can confirm that he did break into 2 residences?
I'm not saying he broke in. Again, we're actively investigating this. I can say he was inside residence, though.
Can you talk to us about the circumstances surrounding the previous calls that police had encounters with him with? We've heard from community members that there was possible children and mothers that were being watched, and there's been concern about that.
So I don't have those calls in front of me. I did briefly review the 2 calls. One of the calls was reported after the fact. It was 1 or 2 days after it occurred. Again, the officers actually did an investigation, and on one of them a report was written and there was no crime. The second one, which was on Friday, which is the one on Facebook right now, that occurred in the park right behind City Hall here, and the call basically said that this person was out there kind of freaking him out and that he was watching kids. Officers did respond there, contacted him, did an investigation, and there was no crime being committed. Unfortunately, you know, it's not illegal for somebody to sit in a park and watch people. You know, I know there's a lot of concern about this individual, but you got to remember that the police department, we are bound by law and can only do certain things. We cannot violate people's constitutional rights. And unless we have a legal reason to take action, we got to let them go.
Can you also talk to us about the circumstances surrounding his release from Atascadero? Was there anything that was done to prove that he was ready for release?
I don't have any of that information. That would be state parole.
Any more on the second victim? I know they're still receiving treatment in a Sacramento hospital. Do you have anything more on the condition besides stable? Is this life-threatening injuries? Are they expected to survive?
He is expected to survive, and it is non-life-threatening injuries. We actually did talk to him earlier today, and he's actually in fairly good spirits.
Are you still calling these random attacks, or do you know if you may have known any of the victims?
So at this point, we don't think any of the victims know each other. The actual victims don't know each other, and there's no nexus to him knowing any of the victims at this time. Again, this is an active investigation, and we have a lot of footwork to do, but it still appears to be a random act of violence.
Going back to the case that happened more than a decade ago, are you able to confirm that that was also a stabbing case for that attempted murder, and that it was of a relative?
I don't have the information on that case. I did not review that.
It's a lie.
Do we know why he was?
I didn't review the case.
I
Actually,
apologize, let me speak.
do we know why this person was in that area? Did he previously live in that area? Did he reside right now somewhere in that area? Is he a transient of that area? Because some community members have told us that he was just living as a transient right now.
So what we do know is when he was released, he started staying at the hotel here in town. Again, he was obviously previously in this city from the 2011 incident. I don't have any details on that because I have not reviewed that. I was not working for the city of Ione at the time, and I have not pulled that case. He was staying here in town since his release, and that's about all we have right now. Again, we're doing this investigation, trying to, track where his whereabouts were in the city.
Yesterday, when we had spoken with you, and I know that you have made that correction here during this press release, that he was on parole for attempted murder, not murder. still going forward, in your opinion, do you think he should have been out on parole for that crime?
I'm not gonna make an opinion on that. I don't know the details of that crime. Again, I have not reviewed that case, and I had nothing to do with that case with the city of Ione. It really falls back to what the state decided to do with him, and that's really a question for the state of California, why he was released and then sent to the hospital and released into Ione.
Before that 2011 case, we had looked at some of our reporting from back in 2011, and that's when the search for him was on, and people were searching for him, and he had run into a creek at that point. Before that, did he have a violent criminal history here in Ione?
I don't have that information, I'm sorry.
That's the problem.
Any further questions? Okay, if
Another question. How long had he been out on parole?
so he was released from the hospital in July,
From a hospital?
correct, in San Francisco.
Quick question for you. When is arrival in Ione, to include the calls or service that you had, was your office at any point in time aware that he was a parolee? Who he was, and if so, was there any communication between your office and his parole agent prior to that? And if so, what were the nature of those?
We did not have any contact with his parole officer beforehand. We are always notified when parolees are released. So we did get notification, and that's where we're at on that. I know we're trying to talk to the parole agent now and get some further details. All right, thank you. If I want to throw out there too is if anybody in the community has, yes, sir.
Can me and the family come up and speak when you're done, please?
That's up to the press. I'll let.
Media, would you like the
Absolutely.
family to speak?
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Real quick, I would like to put out there that if anybody has any further information on this horrible incident yesterday, please contact Ione Police Department. We have officers manning the phones right now, and we are following up on every lead that we get on this. Also, for the press here, please make sure I have your information, so as we get further information, we can also email that out to you in a quicker fashion, and so you guys are aware of what's going on.
And Chief, just for final clarification, before the family graciously said willing to speak to us here, can you just one more time say he was on parole for attempted murder? And just be
Absolutely.
extra clear on that.
Yes, he's on parole for attempted murder, and that was my mistake when I did the initial and work to get you guys some information. I pulled the hit from Klets on our computer, and it was not clear on there. There was a mistake on that, and that's where I got that information. So I stand corrected. It was attempted murder, not murder.
And Chief, can you go over, is there a timeline? What happened at what time, in order?
Right now, I don't have that information in front of me. Again, it's an active investigation, so we're slowly putting all that together. Thank you.